right? Previously we had a wonderful speaker, Amy McGrath, who's written a lot of lovely books. And we're very lucky to have people like that, and another gentleman that's here, Gareth Hess. She spoke about the Fabians society and Karl Marx and everything else. What I want to speak about is how Australia is overburdened and overtaxed and the peril of our nation. Now, Karl Marx's manifesto is taxation is a political tool to suppress and control a country. Now, our Taxation Act was written in 1937, the Tax Act that they work under now, and there's been over 2,700 amendments to it. Then we introduced the grab, snatch and take, that's the GST, or the government swindle taxes, which is a compounding tax. Now, 1st of the 12th 2000, the Daily Telegraph, page 7, the Bureau of Statistics admits defeat on the GST. They can't ascertain how much impact the GST has on inflation. We won't go through it because we haven't got enough time. But if you want to know how bad the tax is for people and how they're evading tax, it goes back to 1953, a Tax Act of 1953, which they invertedly said it's a reciprocal tax act. All it was a one-way traffic street. Everyone comes out here, doesn't pay tax, but we go over there, we've got to pay tax. Any other country. There's no other country in the world got this system but us. And they say if we tax the multinationals, they'll go. Where are they going to go? Can't go anywhere else. The minimum amount of tax you'll pay is in Japan 35%. You pay 40% in Germany, in Europe. If you go to America and try and get out, sorry, 80% stays here if they let you in the joint. Now there's Mr. Jim Kalele, the Assistant Commissioner of Tax, in 1996, stating in the Sydney Morning Herald that the multinationals have paid no tax or little tax since 1953. Now I previously spoke about our farmers. So if we're getting all these other international companies and international countries and countries buying off our land, it'll be paddock to plate. They'll grow the stuff here, take it back to their country. No financial transaction. How are you going to tax them? Got nothing to tax. So what we do, then if we're going to have a manufacturing company here, we have a parent company over in the Cayman Islands or somewhere else, and we overload this company out here with a debt. So their profit is eroded by the debt. They've got to pay back the parent company. No tax. It's just been the buzzword now. Turnbull's evading tax. Shorten's evading tax. Someone else is evading tax in the Cayman Islands. They've Google, Apple, and the furniture, IKEA, last year, 68 billion evaded. It's billion, not peanuts. There's a urban roadworks made 100 million in a quarter. Wonder how much tax they did. You can bet your life not very much. So when they're taxing, and they say, oh, the multinationals, they pay wages. So does Australian small business, but they pay 25 and 30% tax, and the big fella pays none. So how can the small bloke compete? You can't, because of this. Have a go at this. I can't hold them all up because there are too many of them. These are the United Nations, the Fabian Society and everyone else, all these treaties and agreements we've signed with the United Nations, the communist turnout, at the peril of this. There's 7,000 of them. When they signed these agreements, this tax act, it went right back to when we formed the International Monetary Fund. Now people don't know when that was formed. The International Monetary Fund was formed in July 44, over 12 months before the cessation of the Second World War. So you would think they would put all their energy into stopping the war, but what they did, let the destruction happen. We'll set up a bank, all the Rothschilds, the Rockefeller, JP Morgan, all the rest of them, all verified in this book, Wall Street and the Rise of Hitler. And you can get that book at the Heritage Bookshop in Melbourne. So what we'll do, we'll form the bank, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and we'll rehabilitate the world. But our Tax Act was formed then, but it took a few years to implement it. And why did they implement it in 53? We had the Holden motor car. We owned it. Australia owned it. Snowy Mountain Street. And the Yanks didn't want to be paying tax. They were going to pull out. So Bob Menzies in his imbecilical thing said, oh, we'll pass the Tax Act. So all the money they made out here went back there. All the profit from General Motors went back there. So when you start to think how we're structured with our tax and the innovation of our farmers and what they can do and what we can produce here, and other countries and other companies, and there's a great article you can get out of the Telegraph, Tracy Spicer, who's buying our land up. We could go into that another day. There's a young couple trying to buy a house. In a $640,000 home, there's $250,000 worth of hidden taxes. So you can imagine what the farmers are for when they hit a rocky road with a drought or a bushfire or something else. How are they going to survive? And they're still going to pay tax. Yet Joe Farmer from China, the Quato company, another one in Bahrain, the Indians, the Chinese, Suntime company, they won't be paying tax. So our Australian farmer becomes uncompetitive. Our Australian industries that we own, not on. And it's because we sign all these things here, which Amy McGrath's alluded to with the Fabian Society and the Marxists and the Communists and everything else. Australia's got to wake up. It's all out there. The big end of town's not paying tax. And in 1996, when this document was written by Mr. Jim Kalali, 87% of all tax collected that year come from the PAYE, 9% from corporate Australia, but 90% of corporate Australia that was owned by the multinationals, and 7,000 companies that year claimed international status. So, and in the Courier Mail in 1998, 100 companies in Queensland earning in excess of 300 million, not paying tax. So where does the burden stay? So then we get taxed again. They say we'll have private-public partnership to put a road in. So we get taxed again. Then we get taxed again. Tax on tax on tax. What did Karl Marx say? Taxation is a political tool to suppress and control a country. Exactly what Amy McGrath has been saying about the Fabian Society and everything else, and it's alive and well in Australia. Don't kid yourself, because what are they doing about the tax? We're going to get the superannuation people, the Australians that have got the benefits, and we're going to get someone else over there, but the big multinational, oh, hang on, we can't touch him, he'll run away. Where's he going to run to? Hey? Where's he going to run to? There's nowhere else he can go. We've got 75 of the 77 minerals the world requires in abundance. No one can produce rural products. That's why they're coming here. And we're not taxing them. But we'll tax Joe Citizen, like these poor young couple here trying to buy a house. In a couple of years' time, you have to have a chain round your place to stop them invading you, because they won't have a place to live. Then we put out, what do? We tax us again with an international company, with the water, with the desalination plant in Botany that doesn't work, 100,000 a day. What a rot. But where are we going to get the money? If we've got infrastructure tax, government bonds, and raise the thing, it costs us over 25 billion a year for hospital rehabilitating people in accidents. All of that can be alleviated. We've got drought relief. We don't have to have it. We raise government bonds, put our infrastructure in, we can easily fix our tax up. We can have a flat rate tax of 2% on every transaction, abolish every other tax, and everyone's purchasing power will go up, and our companies will compete, and no one escapes. And the speculators on the derivative markets and everything else, they'll get caught too. But like the International Monetary Fund and the banksters wouldn't like that, because they're rorting the system, because that's a disguised communist situation, how they tax us. Just wake up, Australia. You've got enough information. You've heard lovely speaker. We've got another speaker coming on to give you a bit more information. Ask your politician, why is it so you're doing this? Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me. And you'll find them they won't be able to tell you, because they're charlatans.